This weekend, Robert Downey Jr. was announced to be rejoining the MCU, but not as Iron Man, but as Doctor Doom. And here's why that might not be a bad thing. Hello everyone, I'm K Swope, and this past weekend we had San Diego Comic-Con, and this year was a very eventful one. I do intend on making a full video discussing my thoughts of the most exciting things that I think happened at the con this year, but I think what takes the cake that deserves its own video is what happened with Marvel Studios. Now, what happened was they did their panel, and in their panel they announced that Robert Downey Jr. will be returning to play Doctor Doom in the new Avengers movie, going to be titled Avengers Doomsday, and the following movie, Avengers Secret Wars. Right when this news broke, I did make a YouTube short that addressed Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Doctor Doom instead of Iron Man. I do want to confirm, by the way, for anyone who have seen that, who are coming for this, a lot of people were thinking it's not confirmed. Well, it is confirmed because I went back and watched all of the Comic-Con footage from when they were talking about it, and they literally introduced him and said, hey, we are going to get the best actor possible to play this role, and then he comes out, unmasks himself, and it's RDJ out of all people. So there's that. As I'm sure you know, a lot of fans, they had a lot of outcry about that. They didn't like it for multiple reasons, and those are the reasons we are going to talk about and discuss today. I will let you know, I am not necessarily completely on board with Robert Downey Jr. coming back as Doctor Doom, but for this video, for the sake of this video, I want to play devil's advocate. I'm going to talk about the goods and the bads of if he comes back, what that's going to look like. So hopefully you'll find this engaging and entertaining. So here are some of the bad things why a lot of fans are not happy with Robert Downey Jr. being cast. First one being, Doctor Doom is one of the awesomest villains in comic book history. People really love him. His history is very, very rich, and he's very well written historically. Now, the problem with that is if you are making Robert Downey Jr. Doctor Doom, there's going to be a few problems there. The biggest problem I can think of is it seems to me, based on what the MCU is doing right now, I think most people are under this impression, because I am too, that Doctor Doom is going to be some variant of Tony Stark. Now, Doctor Doom, as you know, is not Tony Stark in the comics. I'm pretty sure he never was, unless we consider maybe like some what-if universes or some one-off stories here and there. I'm not a huge comic nerd. I do like comics a lot. I do read a lot of comics, but not on this topic specifically, so I'm a little out of my head knowledge here. Another complaint is that Robert Downey Jr. also kind of already had his chance in the MCU. You know, he was Iron Man. He was great. Everyone loved him in that role so much that it seems really desperate on Marvel's behalf that they're trying to reach, because as I'm sure you know, their most recent movies, and not even just their movies, but their Disney Plus shows, their movies, everything, they haven't been going that well. They've had a few good movies since Endgame, but most of it has been kind of like trash, and I know a lot of people, myself included, just very unimpressed with a lot of what the MCU's been putting out lately. So I think a lot of us are seeing that Robert Downey Jr. coming back, being brought back from playing Iron Man after Iron Man died off in Endgame. I think people are seeing that as Marvel just kind of scraping the bottom of the barrel, trying to bring back people by casting Robert Downey Jr. in this role, which I think is a bad idea if that's what they're going for. And I think that's what a lot of people are also thinking is going to happen. Not to mention, by giving Robert Downey Jr. this role, they're also making it so that other actors that are very talented, who could really pull off this Doctor Doom role, they're basically taking those opportunities away from them, which is not good, because I've seen a lot of fan casts, a lot of people say, hey, I want this actor or that actor to come in and play the character of Doctor Doom, and a lot of these fan casts are pretty good, and I can totally see certain actors in the roles. Moral of the story is, there are a lot of actors that they could cast as a really good Doctor Doom that would make it feel like the story that they're going to give us is going to be more authentic, and like they're crafting it more meticulously by casting a certain actor who is not one that already had their time to shine in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. I think all of the examples that people are giving for why Robert Downey Jr. should not be Doctor Doom, I think they are good examples. And like I said before at the beginning, I'm not necessarily completely sold on having him as Doctor Doom, but I also don't think it's the end of the world like some people are treating it. So I was able to think of a few reasons why, hey, maybe keep an open mind about Robert Downey Jr. playing Doctor Doom. First reason I have is that, as the Russo brothers said during the Comic-Con panel, they called Robert Downey Jr. the best actor I don't know if I'd go that far, but I will say he is a phenomenal actor. I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, I haven't watched the Oscars in a while, but he won for supporting actor in Oppenheimer, which is really good. That's like the top. Well, supporting actor is good. Lead actor would be better. But either way, he still has an Oscar. He's an Oscar winner now, and that puts him on the map as one of the best, most notable actors that you can get your hands on. So, they did bring him back for that, and I do believe that that is good. Robert Downey Jr. is a great actor, and I think regardless of what they do with the character, whether or not people like it, I think that performance, whatever it is still going to be a very good performance because Robert Downey Jr., as long as he gives it his all, and he's not doing this just for a money cash grab, whatever it might be, I think that there's a good chance that he's going to do a really great job in the role, regardless of everything else. Another thing, and although, like I mentioned before, I'm not a super comic book genius, I do know for a fact that there was a time, fairly recently in comics, where Doctor Doom actually used an Iron Man suit. So there's a little bit of parallel there. I'm not saying that we want or that I want specifically to see that in the MCU, but there is that at least. But kind of building on that idea as well, in Age of Ultron specifically, we saw the Iron Legion, and the Iron Legion made me think that if Tony Stark can do that kind of thing as a good guy and use the Iron Legion for good as he was trying to do, even though he ended up making Ultron as a result of it, imagine if he wasn't a good guy but still had the capability to do that kind of thing. Wouldn't that be like him creating his Doombots? Because the Iron Legion, they look a lot like Iron Man suits, even though that they're drones, right? And don't Doombots, aren't they supposed to look like Doctor Doom, yet not be Doctor Doom? Because I've seen multiple times in different media where Doctor Doom would be somewhere, but instead it's actually a Doombot and he's not actually there in person. I think there is some similarities there, so I think that's something worth keeping an eye on and thinking about. There's a little way that they could make that work. So I'm not completely hopeless that they're going to do dirty with this idea of bringing Robert Downey Jr., even if he is some type of Tony Stark variant. I do think there's a lot of comic inspiration that they could use, plus with what they already did in the Marvel Cinematic Universe with that character. I think they got a lot of room, a lot of things to work with, and they might be able to bring a really unique creative angle to the character of Doctor Doom. The other thing I have is in the Comic-Con panel, they specifically mentioned that they announced Secret Wars first, and then they announced Doomsday, Avengers Doomsday. What I think they're doing with this is I think Robert Downey Jr. might only play Doctor Doom for those two movies. And I have a working theory. I'm not going to get into all of it right now because it does have to do with spoilers from Deadpool and Wolverine. And at the time of this recording of this video, that just came out. I don't want to spoil it for anybody. But I do have a theory about how in Secret Wars, they're going to take a bunch of universes and they're going to bring them all together and kind of mismatch them a little bit. I think they're going to recast some people because I think I've heard before that they're interested in bringing back a Steve Rogers Captain America and bringing back Tony Stark, whether or not it's Robert Downey Jr. and Chris Evans. I think that they're potentially looking to bring those characters back, but a different version of those characters and cast new actors in those roles potentially. That being said, I do think that if Robert Downey Jr. is playing some type of Doctor Doom, and if my theory I have for what they might do with Secret Wars, if that is accurate, I can definitely see him only playing Doctor Doom for those two movies to serve the arc that is being told in those two movies, and then being recast as somebody else. So, that being said, I think he would only be a temporary cast, but that's just me being a fan speculating based upon what I'm speculating for the other Avengers movie that they have planned. So, bringing this all back together, tying a cute little bow on everything, here's kind of what I think. I think that Robert Downey Jr. being cast is not the end of the world. I'm still not necessarily fully on this bandwagon, but like I said before at the beginning of the video, I just think it's worth playing devil's advocate and thinking, okay, what could they do? Because, like I said before, I think that there are a lot of possibilities of things that they could do that might actually be good. But I also totally understand all the fans and everyone who's out crying, saying that they think this is bad, this is cheap on Marvel. Because really, I think them bringing him back, generally speaking, is a bad call as far as business goes. Because that makes me think that they're desperate, which makes me think that maybe these next couple of movies coming down the pipeline, Marvel's not very confident in, so they're trying to bring Robert Downey Jr. back as a Hail Mary. But, again, that's just me as a fan, just spitting my mind, telling you what I think. But anyways, that is going to conclude this video. Thank you guys all for watching. If you guys have any type of comments, questions, concerns, you don't like what I said, you think I'm full of crap, hey, that's fine. Leave a comment, let me know I'm full of crap, and we can talk about it in the comments a little bit. Also, if you liked this video, or you didn't like this video, like or dislike it, again, that would be very helpful either way. Also, if you want to see more of my content, feel free to hit that subscribe button. I'm not stopping you, but I have a lot more great ideas down the pipeline for content and videos that I want to do. If you want to, check out this box right here where I give my review for Deadpool and Wolverine. Now, that review does have some spoilers in, but I put a timestamp in, so when that moment comes, you can skip and head straight to the conclusion. So, hopefully you enjoy these videos. I am K-Swope, and I will see you later.